I want to share something very special that just happened, and this is why I will forever love being a devotee of Lilith. Now, for years, I have worked with deities. I started my real journey with Anne Morgan, and then I worked closely with Lilith, and then Hecate, and now I, tend to work with all three. I also am a devotee of Aphrodite, but the month of June really was transformative for me. And I was working very closely with Mother Lilith right before all this went down. So when you work with a deity, especially Mother Lilith, she is always there for you. It is the most comforting thing to know that I have her. But she also doesn't play when it comes to lessons being learned, shadow work being done, and owning up to your shit. So recently, I've come to the conclusion through multiple signs and workings with her that July really needs to be my rest and recuperation month after the purging and transformation I went through in June. And that's hard for me to do because I have ADHD, I have OCD, and I suffer from PMDD. There's always a lot going on up in here. However, today the PMDD is in full effect because I'm 2 weeks out from my menstrual cycle. Just finished ovulating. And it's kind of like a switch gets flipped. And it's not something I like to talk about because it's very dark, honestly. It turns me into another person. And it goes against everything I practice and believe in. My own thoughts become my worst enemy. So today I decided to do a bunch of arts and crafts because that's a way that I like to use my energy to transmute the feelings that I'm having and work through them. So I was sitting out here really battling my thoughts, and I called on Mother and asked for some type of confirmation because I was battling whether I should just really rest, like really, really rest, not just say I'm going to and then not, or, keep on keeping on. And all of a sudden, 2 crows came by squawking, and then right below me was this massive groundhog right there behind that hosta. This groundhog stopped, looked dead at me from down there, and just stared at me for a little bit, and then ran off and scurried under that hole. This was minutes after I had just had a little chat with Mother. So I looked up the spiritual meaning behind groundhogs, which I've never done before or been called to do. Listen to this. The spiritual meanings behind a groundhog: shadow work and inner truths, cycles and timing, hibernation equaling sacred rest, grounding and earth connections, and protection and awareness. And then after all that, it says, when you see a groundhog spiritually, ask yourself, what part of me is ready to awaken from hibernation, or what part of me is being called to hibernate? Reflect, am I avoiding any parts of myself or delaying a transformation? And consider, is now a time to act or wait, rest, and prepare? Literally everything I was speaking to Mother about was answered in that, like confirmation on confirmation. Because you could be as tapped in and tuned in as you wish, but you still have to sometimes rely on other sources for confirmation or guidance. And that is what these deities that you work with are there for, to help you along your journey, whether that's transformation, confirmation, assistance with things. And I've never had to, or have I looked up the spiritual meaning behind seeing a groundhog. And this sucker was big. And like I'm telling you, he stopped and made direct eye contact with me for what felt like forever. So this is just the beautiful dynamic in the relationship that you develop with these deities. You ask and they listen. And they fucking deliver. it just never fails to blow my mind. It never fails to blow my mind because it just shows how real and deep the connection goes when you develop these bonds, these sacred bonds with your deities. I just wanted to share that with you because sometimes we struggle. We ask for confirmation and proof. Sometimes we have a hard time believing in things outside of ourselves. So now I'm going to take some time for me and update my grimoire with this new fandangled information about the groundhog and my little experience today, and reflect. Blessed be, my darlings. I love you.